first so our live don't get cut short or messed up because these social platforms been giving me a run for my money. But guess what? Nevertheless, they'll never stop. Good evening, guys. It's your girl, Finance Muslima. I am your licensed life insurance agent in the states of Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Connecticut, South Carolina, New Jersey. No, not South Carolina. I'm your licensed life insurance agent in the states of Georgia, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Connecticut, and New Jersey. I'm your financial coach. I'm your go to girl for all things mindset and money. I am a speaker. I'm an author. I absolutely love you guys. You're fabulous for always utilizing the financial tips and the solutions that I give you to problems first and foremost. And secondly, for always following your girl and sending all of the amazing referrals. I appreciate you guys. You guys have been rocking. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be able to do this thing. If you're in or if you're on Facebook, check in and let me know what's up. What's going on? Good evening. You guys haven't been checking in. If you're on Facebook, what's up? How you doing this evening? It's Tuesday. So guys, I'm not doing the weekly spotlight that I do with another black woman that I usually do. Because I have been invited to two different podcasts. So we're recording a podcast interview tonight. I have another one scheduled for tomorrow. Alhamdulillah, I'm so thankful for the blessings. So I skipped this week, but nevertheless, I'm still going to roll through with what I have lined up for you ladies for Women's History Month. It's a big deal. Not just one day. I'm going all month long strong with this, guys. I got some good stuff lined up the whole month for you, in several different aspects. So stay connected. Stay on the lookout. Keep your notifications set. Keep your reminders set. I'm adding a lot of things to the website. I'm giving a lot of freebies away. I'm doing a lot of things in the midst of a lot of personal things I'm dealing with this month. But it's not, it's not like it's the end of the world or it's not no major things going on. So we push through everything, no matter the circumstances, we push through. That's what I live by and that's what I know how to do. So if you are new to the platform, go to the website and subscribe for the freebies and get on the email list so you can stay connected. To those of you who got the email and jumped on, thank you guys. I sent out some really dope content and I keep it consistent. The content is really good. I know it is because I pour a lot of things, just real talk and helping you guys and the feedback from it. It's always a connection. So I know that what you need and I know what conversation to have and what to focus on for my audience. Go to the website, www.faithfamilyfinance.co, www.faithfamilyfinance.co, and stay connected. So before I jump in to this litty conversation I'm going to have tonight about the 5 things that women should know prior to committing in a relationship, because we're talking money, we're talking women all month. We're always talking about money, and we're going to tie it in. We're going to talk about men. We're going to tie it into partnerships, commitments, relationships, whatever the case may be, marriages, shacking up, situations. So I want to talk about it because I never really talk about it. I'm not going to go real deep with it, but I'm going to give you guys some things. And yes, I do know some things because I'm single and I want to talk about it. And it's areas that women are not talking about because they fear like a judgment or they're afraid what somebody's going to say about their opinion. So I'm going to be the one to talk about it. I don't care. People's opinion is their opinion. So first and foremost for you guys, I know it's the evening, but I always like to say that you guys got to stay prayed up first and foremost. I don't care if it's the middle of the day, morning, or after night. I'm Muslim, so we pray 5 times a day. If you don't, that's fine. But whatever God or spiritual faith you have, stay connected. That's the whole thing that I'm getting at, right? So prayer first and foremost. I don't care if it's 5 or 10 times a day. My affirmations, I say them in the car, sometimes driving, randomly around the house. Like I'm real relentless about my life and my goals, and what I'm doing. Right, I'm laser focused because I know what I'm doing and where I'm going. So affirmations is no amount of times that you can or cannot do them. Your prayers, your affirmations, and most importantly, making an impact either. Those three major things is never, like, it's not a time limit on none of them. It's not set to what you when you can't do it or when you can do it for neither one of them. Prayers, affirmations, and making an impact in somebody else's life. Remember, I told you that every day, every day, every day, every single day, all day. Prayers, affirmations, and making an impact. So, as I told you guys, it's Women History Month, and tonight I'm going to talk about 5 things that women should know prior to making commitment. Um, First, I want to put out there that commitment is just not in the form of marriage or partnership. Commitment is also in the form of shacking up with another person. When you decide to make a decision to be in a relationship with a guy, and it's called shacking up. Whether sometimes people shack up with men and their children, and they're not even committed to each other. They're both still doing them, right? But they living as a family. That's still a commitment because you living with that person, regardless of what lifestyle y'all living. It's a commitment. So prior to making a commitment, any commitments with a man, I'm solely talking to the women. It's things that you need to do financially. We always talk about what he should have, and what he should be doing, and you want him to be on this high status, and he can't be nothing of this, that, and the third. But what if you run into that guy that he has his own thing going on, he has it all figured out, he got good things going on for himself, and then what if you don't, because you decided to wait until you find that person to get your life rolling. And I want to speak on it because it's something that's not talked about. And the reason I want to talk about it is because I run across a lot of women that feel like it's a lot of things financially that they should not do until they're with their significant other. A lot of women feel that they shouldn't be homeowners until they have a husband and until they have children, until they want the big ring, the white picket fence, all of these things, right? They want the pictures for social media, they want the status because they see everybody else doing it, right? So it's a lot of things that us as women want out of men. But my question to you tonight, and what I'm going to lay it out on the forefront, is can you match it? Are you matching it? And we're talking about money. So I don't think I'm going to say no, because I don't think that it's a good idea to wait for him to buy a house, wait for him to level your life up and get the car that you want, wait for him to start investing, and wait for the babies to increase the retirement plan. I don't think that it should be done that way. I think that life is what it is. Life moves very fast. Life and God has a tendency to do things on his time and how he wants. So why would you wait around for a person to complete you on any aspect? It's not going to work if you're not completed already. So I'm going to talk about 5 things that us women, we should start talking about money and having this finance conversation prior to these relationships, prior to marriages, prior to shacking up and making a commitment to live with a man and his children, your children, and merge families, and not having the financial conversation, because the bottom line is when the finances lack, then the whole household is turned upside down. And it could be avoided if you had the conversation to communicate. So the first thing I want to say is his habits. I feel like out of my top 5, that's the most important thing. And you can learn a person's habits and what's important to them by paying attention to conversation. paying attention to his movement when you're talking to him every day on a daily basis, what he doing, what's his favorite things, favorite places to go, who he hang out with, what does his leisure time consist of, what motivates him, what drives him, all these kind of things. Like they're habits, that small things that make a huge difference in commitment. If it's just a friend, or is not really like that, that's one thing. But if you're talking about somebody you want to get in a relationship with and be committed with, you need to pay attention to these things. Why? Okay, I'm gonna give you an example. Why is it important for you to pay attention to the small habits, such as what he do with his leisure time? Because that's going to be what he's going to be doing. So if you don't like the fact that he always hanging out with his friends, or when he get paid, he go to the mall and spend all his money and all that kind of stuff, ladies, that's a red flag. Now, you can't contradict it, because if your mindset isn't there to where it should be, and if you're into the same thing, then that's going to be okay with you, because you're going to be like, oh, yeah, he into that. Well, I'm into that too. Well, let me see what I can get from him. Or, constantly asking him to buy me stuff, or, oh, we can this, that. So if you're there with him, then you can't contradict yourself in that area. But if you have your stuff together, you know who you are, you know what you want, and you know where you're going, you need to pay attention to these things prior to making a commitment. It's super important, small habits of what guys do, and you need to read between the lines and know what it is you're getting yourself into. So communication out of all five of these things is definitely necessary. You can okay, so I'm from Philly. I'm from South Philly, right? So I grew up a pretty fast-paced life. I could pretty much read a guy or a girl by having conversation with them. I can listen and know if whether or not it's a person that brags on themselves a lot. I can listen and learn, and I can hear conversation. If it's a woman, if whether or not um she's into a lot of material things, or she's a woman that likes to be in competition with other women. You could hear and learn stuff from people through conversation. When you're not having enough conversation and communication, that's when lines get crossed and you don't learn enough about people, before you make commitment, about the man, before you make a commitment to get in a relationship. The second thing is to, why aren't we having a conversation about goals? I talk to my guy friends about goals. Like, we're in our relationship, like we really feed each other up like that. Like we really be on the phone, or we at dinner, like, and we talking about goals, what we got going on, this, that, and the third, who could help this person. Oh, Crease, you could do that. You strong in this area. Oh, you could do that. You're better in this area. Do he know what a business plan is? Do he plan on being a businessman? If not, that's fine. If he has a job and he's comfortable with that, if you're okay with that, then that's fine. But no, ask questions. You have to ask questions, and I feel like we need to communicate more before jumping into committed relationships. Another thing too, it's really dear to me, because I feel like a lot of women are having babies really, really fast with men. Like, I feel like babies is just like the thing to do right now. Like every time you turn around, like somebody's having a baby. It's fine. Like, it's a beautiful thing. I'm not downplaying it if people are in happy relationships, but it seemed like once he had a baby, like people are not even in relationships 5, 6 months into the pregnancy. Oh, we're not together no more. And I'm not saying that you can avoid all of it, but a lot of times, because life happens, I get it, I do understand things will happen. But I'm seeing like 5, 6 months into a pregnancy and you not with a guy, like it's a lot of things you can learn about a guy by having communication, a lot of things you can alleviate by having more communication and conversation about things that really matter, not an hour conversation in a house debating and lit, or celebrity conversations, Netflix, all of this sister stuff that means nothing. Meanwhile, it's like this household is low key tore up. but we're not talking about it or trying to figure it out. We just putting it on the back burner because we're in a comfort zone. That's what it begins to be, a comfort zone. So the habits, you know, I was having this conversation with my son, and he's 16 years old, and what I'm starting to do more with him, you know, no phones, you know, while we're eating and trying to have dinner, because I want to talk to you. I have a 16-year-old embedded goals and life skills in him since he was playing basketball at 5, 6 years old. Now he's 16 years old. We on the phone. It's like, oh, mom, 17 years old. My stock's gonna be doing this. Da da da. I'm getting my license. I'm doing this. So he's excited to share what he has going on as he's growing into a man. Because listen, I embedded goals in him at a young age. You have to embed goals in your children as well. Having a goal conversation when you talk to a man or you dealing with a man. Why are we not talking to our partners, or even if you're in a marriage? I know people that's been in marriages 5, 10, 15 years, like they don't talk about goals. It's just wake up every day, go to work, take care of the kids, pay the bills, do a little bit of leisure, a couple little family trips a year, and that's it. Nothing is being discussed. Goals are really, really, really important. It's important to talk about goals because this is the thing. When you get to a point in life when you know who you are, you know what you want, and you know where you're going, I don't have time to waste. I don't have time to waste with nobody. I don't have time to waste on nothing that's not an investment and bringing me something back in return. Now, I'm not saying deal with the relationship as if it's business. Some people do. But when you know what you're doing, you know what you want, you're secure and confident in who you are, and you're like, I'm not just being with this person for what they have or who they are. I want to ask the question, even if it's like, you don't have to throw it out there like and just be like, oh, well, what are you going to do about this? Or, turn it into an argument. Oh, well, and just stressing them out. No, just gradually start to talk about stuff. Pick at it, pick a night or a day or especially the right timing to bring up certain stuff and just ask about, like, oh, well, if he's a person that constantly complains about his job, and you have to hear it when he come home, or you hear it on his lunch breaks, or while y'all communicating during the day because y'all love FaceTime, right? And you constantly hearing him complaining about his job, you're not going to ask him later that night, when things wind down and stuff like that. Wait till he gets into his comfort zone and he's relaxed, and then ask him like, so babe, what you going to do about the job? Or, or what was the situation? What happened earlier? And let him elaborate and tell you what's going on. And then ask him, well, what are you going to do? Ask him what his decision would be. That's the way you bring up the conversation about stuff that may not be a usual conversation in your household. Because if you don't usually ask, or it's not usually something that you talk about, then it may throw him through a left if you throw it in at the wrong time. Guys, these things are super important. I see a lot of people on IG that's not regulars. So I want to say good evening to you guys. Thanks for coming through. Apparently y'all like the conversation because y'all been here for a while. If you don't know me, my name is Finance Muslima. If you're not on the email list, you can go to the website at www.faithfamilyfinance.co and stay connected for the financial freebies, the events. There's a lot of those going on. Philly, Atlanta, North Carolina. It's a lineup of things going on. We're gonna get back living normal. I say so anyways. But yeah, so stay connected. Join the email list, www.faithfamilyfinance.co. For all of you guys that's on IG, my people that's on Facebook, check in. What's up with you guys? Let me drop in the comments and let me know what's up. So habits, and the third thing would be tying it into or elaborating on the communication again, asking him about, his wants. He may have been, as we all, everybody has a story. Everybody come from something. What is his wants? So as women, sometimes we talk a lot or we talk too much sometimes. So he may know your wants, but you may not know his. What do he want? He has a job, he got his little thing going on. He's able to pay the bills and provide and so forth, And he may be good at saving money, he may not. But you're like, men want different things. They like toys, different cars, they like motorcycles. He may be a guy that's into investing, different things like that. And of course, if that's your partner, if y'all married, then everything he own, you own as well. So how he's going to ask you to come to the table and sign on this investment? You trying to get a house to flip or something like that, and you don't even have your credit together. Different stuff like that. Your credit can mess up the whole situation and what he's trying to do. That's why it's super important to talk about things and know what's going on, because he might think that you got it all together, but you really don't. So, it may be a flip flop. He may have it all together, but you may really don't. So that's why it's super important to talk. Talk to your partner, or the person you living with, your man, your boyfriend. Talk to him about his wants. What do he want? He may be working on saving 20,000 to get a Rolex, and you may feel that that's not a good decision for you guys to make. Living in a household, you should be discussing what's going on. And he may be a guy that feel like a $20,000 Rolex is a priority to him versus getting new floors in the kitchen, or updating a washer and dryer, or increasing the retirement, increasing life insurance for that matter, or is our emergency fund tight? Do we got 20 bands in emergency fund before you go buy a $20,000 Rolex? Different stuff. So you have to have the conversation, because listen, again, I'm going to say, depending on what type of woman you are, I'm talking to women. This is Woman History Month. She may not be concerned or even care about the emergency fund, or what their longevity financial portfolio look like. She might be like, oh, babe, like, she may be encouraging him, like, oh, go ahead and do that. And if she does that and she's not concerned about the back end, then why would he? So you got to ask questions, guys. You got to pay attention and know what's going on. And when you start to make decisions like that, and if he decides to do something like that, and you don't say nothing, or you agree on it, and your financial foundation isn't tight, and that something has happened if he does this and he's swiping out the account, or whatever the case may be, then you're going to have to deal with it, because you're the other partner to the glue to the household. So you're going to have to step up wherever he lack, and that's how that go. So my next question would be, if he did go out and buy the $20,000 Rolex, and your financial foundation wasn't properly solid, would you be able to do what he couldn't do? Would you be able to pull his weight? Or are you financially stable to do that? And it's an even worse situation if the whole household is dependent upon his finances, and the woman isn't bringing anything financially in. Then she's definitely going to be screwed when when decisions like that happen. So it's not saying your man can't go out and buy the things that he want, but the conversation is about women making sure that you're having conversations to know what he's doing, and always knowing what's going on. Because when you're in a committed relationship, when you're living with somebody, boyfriend and girlfriend, or even marriage, it's a partnership. So again, wherever ever one person lacks, the other person is going to have to pick up. So you always want to know what's going on. And the fourth thing, talk about life insurance. Why, don't we talk about life insurance? Why are we afraid to talk about life insurance? I know the number one reason why we don't talk about life insurance, because people are afraid to talk about death, because they feel as if they're never going to die. I guess, like, they feel like they're going to live forever. But the bottom line is, life insurance is a wealth building product. Life insurance is just not, and I tell you guys this all the time, it's just not a tool or a life insurance policy to have in case somebody die, like a get rich quick scheme or something like that. Like, oh, let's just get it and pay on it forever until he died. No, it's deeper than that because life insurance is a wealth building tool. Life insurance is an income replacement tool. Life insurance will be able to provide his income in case he can't go to work. Different things are happening to men as well. Men are getting diabetes, getting colon cancer, pancreatic cancer. They're having strokes. Um, they're having heart attacks. Like men are going through things as well, and a lot of those things are caused by pressure and a lot of different things like that. So if he's the sole provider of the household and everything is dependent upon him, you definitely want to make sure that he has life insurance. Not like, oh, let me go take $1 million policy out on my man, da 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 da. You all hood with it and ready to collect, whatever case may be. If that's your husband, then you definitely better have it. But it's not to that point, like it's not ignorant like that. It's to the point of being grown, it's to the point of being responsible, it's to the point of making sure your family is secure. That's what it's about. So a lot of men I know are out here don't have life insurance, a lot of women too. But I'm saying I'm talking to the women and we're talking about men. So you need to ask your man or your husband how much life insurance he has. You need to know what's going on, what kind he has. If you're not educated and know exactly what it is he has, then you need to talk about it. And he should know the same thing for you and vice versa. Because if something happened to you, he's solely responsible for the household, the children, the mortgage, the cars. All of the debt is going to go to him. So it's super important for both parties to know, anyways. But again, I know that and I talked about this the other night. A lot of women play, um, a lot of women take care of all of the finances in the household. It's a lot of men that don't want to have the financial conversation. They're not financially educated. So they don't want to sit down or they put it off sitting down saying, oh, well, this is XYZ. This is how much we make every month. We're going to stay on a budget. We're going to, focus on our target to, do some investing so we won't have to work as hard, different things like that. A lot of times he may not physically say it like that, but he's putting a woman in charge of the finances and hoping that she does a good job. And some men, they just like to do that. They just like to work and pass over the money. Not saying that, I'm not downplaying it as either. At least he's providing, right? But the responsibility of us as the woman, we need to be financially educated because as he's passing the money over, and then we should definitely have our own money. What are we doing with the money? After you pay yourself, pay the bills, make sure the kids taken care of. Everything shouldn't be saved in a bank. You should have emergency fund, but you also should be investing in something to make y'all some money so y'all don't have to keep working as hard. So flipping the money in some aspect or another, whether it be short term or long term, getting into something. So man passes that responsibility down to woman, but y'all may never even sit and had the conversation, and he might not even know if she know how to read a credit report. He might not even know if she knows how to read the retirement plans and knows what's what and what y'all have going on for the year. He might not even know if she know how to budget for the groceries and so forth. He may not know these things if he never sat and had y'all never sat and had grown conversation, but he know that he's a man and his job is to provide, so he's going to make the money and pass it off. The role that we have as women is so huge because we're solely responsible. But the reason that this conversation is so important because we have so much responsibility financially in the household, so much say so that it's super important for us to prioritize and make sure that we know what we're doing, that we're on our A game, that when you're coming over to these lives and I'm doing all these trainings and webinars and giving these free products out on my website, right? And financial journals and all these things, that you're really taking action and utilizing the solutions that I give you. If you've never sat with a financial professional or if you can't afford to hire me as a financial coach, Utilize all the free stuff I give out and do your own stuff, but you have to do the work. That's a huge thing. And I have conversation with that a lot on my group trainings. A lot of women are saying that the men are putting them solely, they're solely in charge of the finances of the home. They get, you know, not financial depressed, but it was like a financial anxiety type thing because they may not know, they don't know everything to even do, and he's putting them in control. But you never have grown people conversations when you sit and get with a person. You run away from the grown people conversation. It's easy to shack up, it's easy to get married. Okay, we love each other, we want to be committed, da 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 da. But why are we not having a conversation about how we're going to actually maintain this household relationship? And after we maintain it, then we got to make sure it's growing. We got to make sure we get into the next level. And she can't do that if she don't know. But he doesn't know because he never asked her. He just think that he just know his job is to provide and he's going to give her the money. So he's like, babe, you in charge of it. You got to do what you got to do. She never had the conversation with him and not even telling him that she really don't even know what she doing. She just know to do the basics, pay the bills and save the rest and make sure the kids is good. And last but not least, number five is I encourage you guys, prior to getting in committed relationships, or if you're in a committed relationship, or you have a partner right now, talk about careers more, talk about skill set more. You know, ask him, I said earlier about it, ask him about his job. I asked him about, if he's saying, it may be an unhappy place for him, or a lot of things happen in work environments. We have bad days all the time. But if it's like a constant thing or something like that, talk to him about career goals. Like, oh, babe, well, you don't have to stay there, or you ever thought about finding something else, or such and such, or elaborate on it, or maybe if he say he wants to look for something else, maybe help him and find out what else is it out there that he'd like to do, so he's not super frustrated during the day and it brings it back home to the household. And if he's coming home angry every day late in the evening because work then shot his day out, you think he's after he wind down, he want to sit and talk about finances and what we not doing the right way? No, he's not going to want to talk about it. So that's what we do. We brush it under the rug and we just go to work every day, and we just keep like living on autopilot per se. So you have to know, another thing too, career goals and skill set, that's on a short and a long term basis. And again, I'm talking to us women, so I'm talking about men. So he may have a business that he's running right now, and it may not really be working out for him, or is not as profitable as he thought it was going to be, or he went in partnership with one of his friends and started flipping and selling cars, right? And it may not be the profit or rate of return that he thought it was going to be, and a lot of hiccups is coming in it, right? So then you'd be like, well, this thing comes short term and long term. Okay, babe, well, that's one thing. We'll sit and talk to him and figure out what else can we do. Flipping cars is a thing of fast cash. We can get that money now. You also have to have the conversation. What are we doing long term to focus on cash flow to consistently come to the household, so that we're not, again, working as hard, because that's the main thing, guys. You want to be able to get paid in your sleep. You want to learn how to get paid interest. You want to be covered in all angles, in case something happens to the money that you do make and you have no control and you wake up and can't go to work. What are you going to do? So the career goal conversation, again, it's a short and a long term thing, because all the time, not even just men, women too. Women have 1,000 side hustles. Men have 1,000 side hustles sometimes too, right? But some of us are really focused on the longevity target because we might be doing the side hustles to fuel and feed that one thing that we're really passionate in. So that makes a difference as well. Talking about short and long term. Okay, what are we doing now? Okay, that's fine. We're gonna get this thing rolling. We're gonna get this money. We're gonna put the car money into this, and we're gonna buy a house over here. We're gonna start another LLC in the kid's name, and we want to do this. So talking about the longevity part of it is a huge thing as well, because you can get caught up. so quick on the now and what's going on currently in front of you when you don't plan or prepare. And then when life start to happen, and again, if you don't have that proper financial foundation and things start to happen with the car business and we're in the job, the full-time job and the second side hustle, things start going like this because you didn't you're not living by with on a financial strategy per se. So even if he don't know to do it and the woman is doing it who's in charge of the household, she's not doing it. So then he's like, I'm giving all the money to you. What are you doing? So then now he's stamping on her because he feel like I thought you had this under control. It's a conversation to have, guys. We must have the hard conversations. It's a part of being grown. And another thing too that I will say, don't be afraid. I encourage women to, if you need some type of financial resources or you need finance tips, you need some finance one-on-one, you need a financial journal, any of these things, go to my website, www.faithfamilyfinance.co. I got a credit cheat sheet on there as well, www.faithfamilyfinance.co. So I want to what this is the, what I'm doing is I'm giving you guys all the necessary tools that you need. This thing is way past motivation. It's way past inspiration, inspiring. It's way past women empowerment, all of that. Like I'm way past that. This is about taking massive action in your life and utilizing what you have in front of you, and deal with the problems. Get the solution that you need to the problem. This is not just about getting motivated and oh, that was a good conversation, da da da. Yeah, it was, but now you know your personal situation. So what are you doing? That's what this is about. This is about taking action. So if being solely in control of the household as far as finances, you need to get on your finance game and get educated in what it is because your family is dependent upon the decisions that you make. And then another thing that I would suggest as well, a lot of times men don't like to talk about finances, but if you encourage it in a fun way, you get creative with it. Or if he's the type of guy that you can sit him down at the dinner table, or y'all can sit on the couch and have a conversation, and you got your financial journal out, and you like, babe, this is what we've been doing for the last 2, 3 months, da da da. You see, you got everything going on. You could be teaching him some stuff. And he might be like, wow, like I didn't even think it like that. Because, sometimes men, they never really slow down to pay attention to different stuff like that when they put the woman in charge. But if you bring it up to him in that way and you showing him different things that you're doing, you're able to teach him something like that. And then who knows, after teaching him a little bit, he might be willing to step his game up in some shape or form, or he can yet start getting a little bit more involved in what it is that you're doing and say, oh, baby, I saw that you had that other savings account for our travel for the family. Oh, well, here go $100 this month. Put that in our travel plan for us. We everybody, Disney, right? It's a favorite thing for the family. Put the extra $100 right here and put it on our travel plan. But if he don't know that you have these things, then he just don't know. So once you get educated and you get comfortable with the financial conversation, then you can teach your children and teach your husband. Until you get comfortable with it, you can't teach nobody nothing. So, and talking to these kids about money is super, super important. Don't let the streets or teach your kids these things once they get out of the house or start sneaking out and learning stuff. Like you got to teach your kids these stuff. And family is very important. We all should be working hard to leave our legacy and build an empire. And you can't do it if you don't know how to create a strategy. Everything is done off strategy. So, 5 things that you need to keep in mind before getting into a committed relationship: knowing his habits, pay attention to his habits and his movement, ask him about his goals, ask him about his wants and his needs, find out if he has life insurance, and talk to him about his long-term and short-term goals. If you need the credit cheat sheet, if you need 60 ways to cut back and find some creative things to do in your household or on your free time so that you can hit that target and buy that new house, or increase some money into your stocks or whatever the case may be, go to the website www.faithfamilyfinance.co and grab you something that will help you. And if this conversation was helpful for you, tag a friend, send a referral. I greatly appreciate it, and I hope you guys got some good information from this tonight, which I know you did. And also stay connected for Charlotte is first. We have a Mindset and Money Game meetup in Charlotte in April. And then May is going to be Philly and Atlanta. And I'm going to work the rest of it out next. I don't know, but I'll keep you guys posted. If you want to email this, you'll find out first before everybody.